Imagine the sound of distant drums, not from war, but from a city being called to attention. A feeling of unease hangs in the air, a mix of fear and excitement. Have you ever seen how fear and wanting things can change a group of people? How big promises and scary threats can make people choose sides, even if they once promised loyalty. Today, we look away from the lonely plains of Karbala and towards the busy city of Kufa on the 4th day of Muharram, 61 AH. This is where the trap truly closed in on Imam Hussain, peace be upon him. What chilling words were spoken from the leader's stand? How did a governor's harsh will decide the fate of thousands? And what choices made because of greed or terror led to even more soldiers being sent to fight the Prophet's grandson? Let's uncover the dark moment that brought the storm right to Karbala's doorstep. O you who have believed, if you support Allah, He will support you and plant firmly your feet. Surah Muhammad, chapter 47, verse 7. The air in Kufa, which was usually full of the sounds of buying and selling and daily life, now felt strange and tense. Just a few days ago, letters promising loyalty to Imam Hussain, peace be upon him, had filled the city. Now, those promises felt like quiet whispers, lost in the loud actions of Ubaidullah ibn Ziyad. He was the cruel governor appointed by Yazid. Imam Hussain and his small group were already surrounded in Karbala because Umar ibn Saad's army had just arrived there. But Ibn Ziyad, sitting in his grand palace in Kufa, was not happy. He wanted total control. He wanted to crush any hope of people fighting back and to make sure Yazid's rule was strong, no matter the cost. His heart was cold. It felt nothing for the dignity or the family line of the Prophet. On this 4th day of Muharram, Ibn Ziyad made a very strong move. He sent his soldiers and messengers all over Kufa with a clear order. Everyone had to gather in the big mosque, right away. The message was simple: you had to be there. Fear spread through the city. People who had secretly supported Imam Hussain, or who simply wanted peace, now faced a terrible choice. They slowly walked towards the mosque, their hearts heavy with worry. They knew that they would soon have to publicly show their loyalty to Yazid. The mosque, usually a place for prayer and quiet thought, was turned into a stage for scaring people politically. When everyone was gathered, packed tightly into the mosque, Ubaidullah ibn Ziyad went up to the pulpit, the elevated stand for speeches. His voice was cold and powerful, cutting through the silence. He didn't talk about fairness or goodness or God's will. He talked about power, rewards, and punishments. He started by twisting the truth, making Imam Hussain seem like a rebel who wanted to cause trouble. He completely ignored Imam Hussain's pure intentions and the many invitations he had received from Kufa itself. He angrily announced that Imam Hussain had come to break the unity of the Muslim people and challenge the rightful ruler. His speech was made to create anger and fear, to turn people's hearts away from the Prophet's family. He stirred up the crowd, using their worries and desires against them. Then came the chilling offers and threats, commanding, "Whoever obeys us," he yelled, "will get rewards like positions, money, and our favor." He promised large amounts of money, important jobs in Yazid's government, and protection for those who joined the army against Imam Hussain. For the common people who were struggling to make a living, these offers were very tempting. But the other part of his speech was even more frightening. "And whoever disobeys," his voice dropped to a scary whisper that was heard throughout the mosque, "will face harsh punishment. Their houses will be destroyed, their ways of making a living will be cut off, and they will lose their lives. He threatened to take away their salaries, to seize their property, and to severely punish anyone found secretly supporting or even feeling sorry for Imam Hussain. This was a direct attack on their safety, their families, and their very existence. He made sure to stress that no one would escape his watchful eye. The effect on the crowd was deep and immediate. Many who had once written letters to Imam Hussain now felt a strong shiver of fear, their loyalty already weak because of Ibn Ziyad's earlier cruel actions, like the killing of Muslim Ibn Aqil, broke completely under this intense pressure. Some, wanting the promised rewards, eagerly stepped forward. Others, frozen by terror for their families and their own lives, unwillingly promised their loyalty to Yazid. Their hearts were filled with regret, but their hands were forced by the situation. The true strength of a person's faith is often shown when they are under such immense pressure. As the Quran says, "Do people think that they will be left to say, 'We believe,' and they will not be tested?" Surah Al-Ankabut 29 verse 2. Many failed this test of loyalty, choosing safety in this world over. The result of Ibn Ziyad's harsh call to action was quick and terrible for Imam Hussain. With a new wave of people forced to join, and those who eagerly wanted to gain, Ibn Ziyad immediately sent more soldiers to Karbala. These new forces, making Umar ibn Saad's army even bigger, tightened the iron grip around Imam Hussein's camp. Any hope for help from outside, no matter how small, was now completely gone. The encirclement became total, the isolation complete. Every day brought more Umayyad soldiers, turning the vast desert plain into a huge, intimidating military camp. This sudden increase in enemy numbers was not just a physical change. It showed how Kufa had given up its moral principles, choosing fear or worldly gain instead. The 4th of Muharram thus made Karbala's destiny certain. It was the day when Kufa's betrayal became a clear, active force against the Prophet's family. It was the day when the stage for the ultimate sacrifice was not just prepared, but filled with the scary presence of an army driven by the cruel will of a tyrant. Imam Hussain and his companions, though far from Kufa, would have felt the growing pressure, the tightening of the trap, the increasing certainty that their fate was now decided by the choices made by others, choices driven by fear and love of worldly things. The sun set over Karbala that evening, casting longer, darker shadows, not just on the desert floor, but on the unfolding tragedy. It was a tragedy born in the heart of a city that chose oppression over truth.